Josh and Megan, let me get you today.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. We have a special treat for you this afternoon. I'm pleased to present the Fulton Middle School Festival Choir under the direction of Mrs. Marla Reynolds, who will perform Song for a Russian Child by Andrea Klaus. Please welcome these fine young people from our community. It's our distinct pleasure to have with us this afternoon a number of very special of the 8 wall sections used in Breakthrough. Mr. Hans Janacek of New York, whose assistance was invaluable in enabling Miss Sands to make contact with the appropriate government officials in the German Democratic Republic. Mrs. Gupton Boat of St. Louis, the wife of the Senior Fellow of the Churchill Memorial. Mrs. John McFarland of St. Louis, wife of the Chairman of the Westminster College Board of Trustees. Mr. Ray Mingay, Her Majesty's Consul General in Chicago, Illinois. Mr. Mark Dixon of New York, the son of Edwina Sands. And Mrs. J. Harvey Saunders, wife of the President of Westminster College.
of St. Louis.
Right behind the speaker in that black robe.
The senior fellow of the Winston Churchill Memorial and Library, Mr. Gupton A. Vogt of St. Louis.
Year after year, Westminster College receives recognition as one of the outstanding institutions of education in America. We recall
President Saunders, Governor Ashcroft, Senator Bond, Mrs. Sanders, never change a winning team, never change.
President Saunders, President Reagan, ladies and gentlemen, a year ago today, like everyone else in the world, I was glued to the television screen, watching the Berlin Wall crumble and fall. The souvenir hunters started chipping away immediately. But it was only when I heard that the East Germans had removed large stretches of the Berlin Wall. It'd be wonderful to make a sculpture out of the Berlin Wall. And wouldn't it be wonderful to bring it to Fulton, Missouri, and link it with my grandfather's speech on the Iron Curtain. Productions from my friend Hans Janicek and from his friend, Dr. Gregor Gysi, we were able to meet people, members of the then communist East German government. Explaining my mission was easier than expected. They had heard of Fulton and of my grandfather, and they knew the Iron Curtain speech word for word.
Throughout his
President, he did more in recent history to bring about world peace than any other administration has achieved since the Second World War. By his strong advocacy of striving for mutual cooperation and arms reductions, he laid the foundation for the easing of tensions in Europe that none of us could have envisaged even 2 years ago. In 1946, when Sir Winston Churchill spoke here of the Iron Curtain, which had descended across Europe, he could have had no vision.
trustees and by the state of Missouri, I hereby confer upon you, Ronald Reagan, the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws, with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. In token thereof, I deliver to you this diploma, duly signed and sealed, and direct that you be invested with the hood, which is the symbol of the degree. We believe that you will bear this degree with distinction to yourself and with significant honor to Westminster College.
I have to confess to a certain sense of guilt in receiving this honor, Mr. Saunders, because a half a century ago, my alma mater presented me with a degree after 4 years of being a student there. And for that half a century since, I've always had a little sense of guilt that that first one was honorary. But thank you, Charlie Price and Dr. Saunders. Thank all of you very much. I can hardly visit this comment that Sir Winston Churchill made when he was congratulated on the size of an audience gathered to hear him speak. Any other politician would have been flattered, not Churchill. It was no great achievement to draw a crowd, he said. Twice as many would have turned out for a public hanging. Well, maybe so, but I'm deeply grateful to each of you for your warm welcome. What Edwina Sandy's sculpture, celebrating the triumph of her grandfather's principles. And what a source of pride to receive an honorary degree from this distinguished college, whose illustrious past is equaled only by its future promise. Today, we rejoice in the demise of the Berlin Wall that was permanently breached just 1 year ago today. We remember brave men and women on both sides of the Iron Curtain who devoted their lives and sometimes sacrificed the E-Day. The Times of London prepared an editorial suggesting that Prime Minister Churchill run as a non-partisan figure above the fray of parliamentary politics, and that he gracefully retire soon after to rest on both points he intended to make. And Churchill had a ready reply. As for the first suggestion, Mr. Editor, he said, I fight for my corner, and as for the second, Mr. Editor, I leave when the pub closes. For a while in the summer of 1945, it looked as if perhaps the pub had closed. We all know that democracy can be a fickle. Clementine Churchill, trying to think of anything to say that might console her husband. At the moment, it seems quite effectively disguised. I have no regrets, Churchill told visitors of the aftermath of his defeat. I leave my name to history. I'd reach the heart of America. He would do so in an address whose timeless eloquence would be matched by his indisputable logic. Churchill addressed a nation at the pinnacle of world power, but a nation unaccustomed to wielding such authority and historically reluctant to intrude in the affairs of Europe. In the exhausted aftermath of World War II, few were prepared to listen to warnings of French danger, but Churchill was undaunted. Once before, his had been a voice crying out in the wilderness against the suicidal dogmas of appeasement. Once before, he had sounded an alarm against those on the march. From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, an iron curtain has descended across the continent, he said. Churchill titled his speech, The Sinews of Peace, but the reaction it provoked was anything but peaceful. Newspaper editors on both sides of the Atlantic rushed to brand its author a warmonger. Labor MPs asked Prime Minister Attlee to formally repudiate his predecessor's remarks. From Moscow came a blast of rhetoric labeling Stalin's former wartime ally false and hypocritical, and claiming that having lost an election in his homeland, he had decided to try his luck in the United States. Harry Truman knew better. The people of Missouri were highly pleased by Churchill's visit and had enjoyed what their distinguished visitor had to say. And for those trapped behind the Iron Curtain, spied out, surrounded by barbed wire and attacked dogs and guards with orders to shoot on sight anyone trying to escape the so-called workers' paradise of East Germany. Well, today, we come full circle from those anxious times. The road to a free Europe that began there in Fulton led to the Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan, to NATO and the Berlin Airlift, through 9 American presidencies and more than 4 decades of military preparedness. By the time I came to the White House, a new challenge had arisen. Moscow had decided to deploy intermediate-range nuclear missiles like the SS-20 that would threaten every city forever, and our children's dreams were no longer marred by the specter of instant annihilation. Of course, not everyone agreed with such a course. For years, it had been suggested by some opinion makers that all would be well in the world if only the United States lowered its profile. Some of them would not only have us lower our profile, they would also lower our flag. I disagreed. I thought that the 1980s were a time to stop apologizing for America's legitimate national interests and start asserting them.
Here's your sleeve. Here. Oh, dear me.
Thanksgiving, 1990, November 22.
Well, we can always fix that thing for you.
Megan's room.
I'm cooking.
I'm reading.
I'm not gonna watch your damn cooking so you don't burn it.
They all work so far?
Let's see what Julia Daddy's cooking today.
Julia Daddy. Julia Daddy.
Look at him, he's got that fork in his mouth, Megan. Get that. Put it back in, Ron. Put your fork in. See what?
This is Megan's pork. I'm washing it. For her dinner.
Here comes Taddy. Now,
I'm gonna fix these little
it's the
films so
Thanksgiving turkey and the
Mama
dressing.
will never show them to anybody.
How delicious. Tabby, wait. Don't.
You don't want up that close, Josh.
Now, would you
Megan, not that close. Not that close. You're just gonna
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Don't pick your nose.
Not that close now. That's enough of that. Go get
No,
Brad
wait.
one, and he's not a movie target.
Okay.
Thank you, Josh. But you don't know if it's working or not, do you? Because Josh, we didn't know if he'd got it recorded battery enough. There's our two.
Recorded a battery. It's charged wrong. The battery was hot.
This is raspberry.
I just don't
Hope it doesn't explode.
Told you, Mom.
What'd you tell me?
It was done.
What's that?
Recording.
The battery? What are you
Charging you.
Don't say it right. Josh will get mad if you don't.
What's the matter?
I stopped the milk in the microwave. That's not me. This picture, I'll shoot it's drier than this one. You know that?
Grandma.
Quit using that salt.
Hey, I can use it.
Okay.
No, I'll wait. You're the one who shouldn't be using it.
Daddy's getting out now. Because I can use salt around all this. He don't. Thumbs up, Alex.
My dad made the holes in the tablecloth and the table. He's taking his fork and jamming it down as hard as he
He
can.
always does that anymore. He's made holes all over that.
And it's probably making dents in the table too. Just
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, as
Because
hard as
he
you
likes to
could.
use it for every day, so.
What?
The tablecloth. I mean, the table.
Mine?
The table, I mean, not the
So we
table.
don't need to have Taddy stick. I want to see the using
Any kind of jelly you want.
maybe outside the garage.
What is this, raspberry, strawberry? and apricot, and I do have homemade peach, if you want a homemade peach.
Cauliflower. It's
And
good.
broccoli,
It tastes just like the
and
turnip.
asparagus. Eat your cauliflower, Patty, does it?
I think this is enough recording of the food, don't you?
No. I'm not even in the picture of you. Don't you
Oh,
wanna be
so
in the
you gotta
family?
sit around and watch this for hours?
Well, sure.
Right. As long as Joshua sets it up for you.
Look at the camera, Taddy. Wave to be on the picture.
Hey, hey, look at, hey.
Megan, don't. Could you eat this cauliflower? Cheese on it.
My food's hot. My food's so hot.
Why?
It does.
Shut up, Taddy. Megan, stop that.
Ow.
Taddy, you want to leave the table?
Ow, I
You
got it.
can hear it on the TV. What's in there?
Ow, I got it.
Is the upper table too close or what?
My
Yep.
food is
Shush up.
hot.
Well, what do you want us to do about it?
I want to take him away.
He wants
I can
medicine.
go up to your.
Come on, eat your dinner. Are you not going to eat? You don't want any dinner? You want what kind of jelly?
Is he too close to the table? What's the matter?
Avocado.
Says his mom and it's hurting and itching. He wants apricot. Okay, here, Ron, when you get caught up. Apricot? He calls it applecot. Applecot.
Mom,
What is it now, Josh?
that was a crude thing to say right from the camcorder.
What?
That was a nice thing to say.
Sorry.
We all appreciate that.
Well, it's just too bad she's not as cool as you. Since you're the one that kind of talk that way.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What do I look like? Just came off the farm.
But it's drier than the smoked turkey, isn't it?
Right.
That smoked turkey's no better tasting than the other, isn't it?
They're kind of good. This one's like the other one.
There's a truck in there from Springfield, as we pulled out. Maybe that's where he gets his ham or something.
Oh. You'll taste asparagus, that might, you may think something's not done, asparagus in there that's kinda hard to chew up every now and then. Now that corn was soft in the microwave.
Oh, let's try an apricot.
Is it good, Daddy?
Will you pass me the butter then?
Avocado again.
You heard?
Mm-hmm.
What's the matter?
I don't know.
Take a shot. It's a nice out.
You wanna leave the table and go somewhere else then?
Yeah.
You're not gonna eat dinner, honey?
Okay.
You tired?
Mm-hmm.
You said you heard me too much garbage.
Maybe he'll eat it later.
I don't know if I'm going to get it.
Don't you want your apricot even?
Mom, is this a food service, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
Food service. What's a food service, Mom?
Right there.
That's not a food service. This is good.
I guess you can turn it off. for me.
Mom, somebody did eat to the food service.
Wait, camera. Food service, that's the food service.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Say, there's a pretty little purple
Hey,
patch.
Tabby. Wait, will you go over there? Go over there. Where's the guy cat?
You gotta be careful
Grandma,
up here. Then
look
don't
up
waste
here
your
and
teeth.
smile.
You stirred up so much
Oh,
trouble.
no, I just look terrible. My hair
Pretty little
isn't fixed or
purple pansy out there.
Yeah, we got a pansy in bloom yet. Pansy out here, a little pansy. See it
Give
out
me a
there?
pill or two.
Oh. You want big one or little one or? I don't know what size. See, you've got enough red lighting. This shows through that.
What are you getting into out there?
In fact, you got
Grandpa,
enough red
wait,
here
wait.
for like you just need a little thing like you got there. So see these little
Smile.
hooks up here?
I'm too close then,
See the
huh?
little hooks?
Get back a little.
I want to see what he's doing. I'll be back.
You need more light on, Maggie, don't you?
What do you want, huh?
I just gotta fill in this little gray here and I'll be all done. See that
Yeah, the little white thing is.
Yeah, but that's
Well, come on, people, do something more interesting.
No, I don't. Well, that's because this is all on it. Lots
We love looking at your butt, Mom.
solid up here.
Well, that's Mom, you can have one.
Wait, let me get a better picture. Okay, wait.
She says it's all right.
Okay, wait. Barely got any. Hold up.
Did you have a good time?
Gotta
Good.
finish it today
Marsha,
on Thanksgiving.
Yay, applaud, people. Okay, okay, I'm gonna let myself on for a little. Oh, wait, let me. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna take her.
Hi.
Take my shoes off, Maggie. Does that help or not?
Just a minute. I gotta get the cat.
Disturb her, all that snoring, so
Get up. Mitzi, look at Emma.
Hi, Mitzi. Oh, she is so worn out. She slept with me all night, Megan. Don't tell Megan, she's mad. Megan went to sleep before I even got out of the room last night. She was so
Taddy,
tired.
come play with me and be on the camera. Okay, let me shoot you.
Get on the camera, show them your cookie. She said she didn't sleep good.
Let me see you eating.
Show them the cookie.
All right. What kind of cookie is that? I know. I'll raise my hand.
Oreo
Okay,
cookie.
it's an Oreo cookie with white fudge on the outside.
It's
It's
a
a
new
Christmas
Oreo.
cookie.
It's a new Oreo cookie.
You can't chew it.
I can't bite it.
Oh, isn't she the... Mitzi! Oh,
I hope
Tab.
those pictures get in the
Mitt.
get back so you can see them up.
Here, kitty.
before you leave.
Good girl. Here, Tabby. Okay, I'm a cameraman. Go over there and sit down.
Got them for the kids. Somebody brought them at work and they were real good.
Go sit down.
So we had to get some for the kids.
How do I get a real close-up of him?
What's he out there doing? I'm going to have to make him a pie pretty soon.
How
This
do I get
up
a real-
here.
Oh, okay.
We should, either way, I don't know which way it'll go down, back and forth. You getting it zoomed in? Take your shoes off in the house, please, on the bedroom floor. Take it.
That little light.
You're not running, are you, Megan?
You got
Yeah.
Boy, it wouldn't take a lot of waste
when
up.
you was running for
Wasted
Queen
taking pictures there,
in the
like
Navy.
that.
That's stuff
Tabby.
that is new. She could wear that.
That's too old for her.
You oughta,
Too old looking.
Boy.
you oughta wait till you get something good to take.
That's
That
Dad's
light blue
picture. Oh, let's get
light
another
blue, too.
pictures.
Just button
He
down.
You oughta wait
loves.
to get something good to take, not waste it on.
I think
So
the skirt
close.
is that straight skirt.
It's
Is.
just
Mom.
a straight skirt.
Was this, whose wife's house was this?
Shakespeare's wife, Anne
This-
Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway. This is Anne Hathaway's house.
Oh, Mitzi, old cutie.
Let's see. I'm gonna go clear
Megan,
around.
why don't you turn it off there?
Oh.
And we'll save it and we'll do the whole family tonight. A family portrait, okay? Don't waste the film. It's just about
Let
to
me
end.
just get this picture. I love this picture. Don't you? Yeah. You have to get a real close look at it to really like it. Some other pictures.
Megan, don't waste the film. It's just about to the very end. Come on, turn it off. Thanksgiving dinner.
Look over here, Thaddy. Thaddy. Go in there and sit with Grandpa, Megan.
Where's Thad go?
Okay, we have the Usovsky family putting up our Christmas lights.
How are we gonna reach? You can't reach up if that gets stuck. I can too.
He thinks he can. Let him do
All
it.
you're doing is someone hold the ladder for him.
He's got to learn something. Megan will hold the ladder.
No, she won't. I'm afraid of her.
Yes, I will.
All the little things you've done here going back.
Yeah.
Why don't you go up there, Megan?
Joshua, do you wanna? Don't! Mom! Look what he's doing. Don't! Okay, it's off.
Good. Daddy. Let's try on the other sweater for Megan.
Ooh. Santa bear. Tabby, come here. Can I get a picture? Why don't you go stand on the foot here?
Megan, no, don't.
Don't waste it.